All right, we're rolling. Hello, hello. I'm gonna let some people roll in here. How's it going? Hello, hello. There we go. I'm trying to wave at everyone. How's it going, everybody? All right, we got a good bunch in here. All right, let's get it started. So if you guys have been tuning in recently, usually it's a one-on-one interaction with Toby. The box crew is actually, they're out of town right now at a mountain bike event. So I'm on a solo mission today. But yeah, we'll do a little introduction. I'll talk about kind of the current situation I'm in, some upcoming competitions, events right around the corner. Do a little bike check back there. And then the main thing is just Q&A. Feel free to ask me any questions at any time. And yeah, just interact with me as we go. So yeah, if you don't know me, my name is Cameron Wood. I'm 22 years old. I'm a professional BMX racer for Mongoose Bicycles and the USA BMX Foundation. And I'm partnered with Box Components, who's hosting me today. So they've been an incredible support for me my entire professional career, 4 years now, and then a lot of my amateur career as well. So I honestly can't really remember the last time I didn't have Box Components on my bike. So yeah, excited to be here and chat with you guys today. Some of you guys still rolling in. Yeah, so we'll start a little bit about me, some background. I grew up in Bozeman, Montana. I grew up playing all kinds of sports, football, basketball. I skied, liked to golf, raced motocross and BMX. And the BMX conditions were kind of crazy where I grew up. We had 2 tracks in the entire state. I was only able to ride 4 months out of the year. Yeah, I didn't really know what I wanted to do when I was young. I just knew I wanted to be a professional athlete of some sort. I never really had a dream of being a professional BMX racer from the get-go. I just loved to compete. No matter what it was, I wanted to win. I was really competitive, hated to lose. And then I would say, yeah, kind of later in my childhood, BMX stuck a little bit more than everything else. I played a lot of team sports. I decided I kind of liked the feeling of individual sports more. I didn't like just kind of like a team structure. I didn't like having kind of coaches or people that could get in the way of what I wanted to do. Yeah, I mean, everyone has their preferences. I just liked, kind of having more weight on my own shoulders. And then shortly after, I think when I was 16, my family and I moved to Phoenix, and I went all in on BMX. So a large part of it was for racing. Both my parents got good job opportunities there. We were kind of tired of the cold weather, and things took off for me once we got to Phoenix. So I worked hard. I got fast at a pretty fast rate. I ended up winning a lot of races as an amateur when I was 16 and 17, and then had some success in junior elite in 2019, and then turned pro shortly after. Signed with Mongoose, and we've been able to accomplish some pretty cool things since then, winning several races at the highest level of the sport, and I get to do what I love to do every day. So that's kind of a brief background. Current situation, some competition and events right around the corner. So I guess I got to rewind a little bit. So most of you know I had a shoulder surgery last year. Took a crash at a World Cup in Turkey, and that was actually Team USA's first Olympic point event. So I missed a lot of time after that. I ended up fracturing my glenoid in my shoulder and tearing my labrum. So I had surgery. I was sidelined for 4 to 5 months, I believe. I ended up coming back from that, finishing the year off really strong. Was able to win a World Cup in Argentina and finish the USA BMX series out pretty strong as well. And I felt like I was just kind of getting to that point where I got over that injury. I was feeling good heading into this year, and then took a crash in New Zealand and ended up kind of doing the same exact thing that I did last year. So the situation was a little bit different the second time around. I had a decision to make. The first time I had no option really but to get the surgery done and kind of focus on a full recovery. The timing of this one was kind of weird because it fell really close to some big events that I've dreamed about my whole life with the Home World Championships and then trying to qualify for the Olympics as well. So I ended up having to push surgery aside. It might be something that I need to do later on in the year. And so I've just been treating it, physical therapy, doing everything I can outside of operation to work on getting strength back. I wear a brace. I race with a brace now. Deal with a little irritation and a little pain, but nothing extravagant. Just been trying to manage the situation as best as possible. So that's the situation now. Still dealing with it. Still a work in progress on the shoulder. Had some time off after the re-injury. I think it took me a month and a half to get back on the bike. Ended up moving to Rock Hill, which is where I'm at right now, to prepare for some big races coming up here, the World Championships, obviously. And that's one thing I haven't had in my professional career so far, is I haven't lived and been centered around an 8-meter hill or like a really world-class facility like they have here. So it felt necessary this year. I got back racing 2 weeks ago at the test event in Paris and the Continental Championships in Bogota. That was honestly, I think Paris was my second week back on my bike. So I was kind of getting feelers on everything, feel things kind of coming back to me, and I feel like we're on track for a good few weekends coming up. We have the World Cups in Tulsa, and then the World Championships in Rock Hill. These events are obviously pretty heavily weighted on our Olympic qualifying system. And then after the dust settles in Rock Hill, I'll know whether I'm on the team or not. Pretty important races, and glad to be feeling more and more like myself this time of the year. It's been a pretty tough road, to be honest. Leading up to last year, I'd been pretty fortunate. Hadn't really had to go through any major injuries or anything like that. So I've been thrown quite a bit of curveballs in the last year, and just had different things, different challenges, and in racing and in life that I've had to overcome. But I kept my head down. I keep my eyes on the prize. At the end of the day, I get to do what I love to do. I love to compete. I love to race. And I'm grateful to live the life that I get to live. So that's kind of what we're up to right now. See some questions in here. I'll come back to all these at the end too when we do a Q&A. I'm going to go over my bike real quick. I'm going to show you the box oversized products I use. I wonder if hopefully I can flip the camera on this thing. Let's see. All right, here, let me get a light on real quick. All right, so I'll just kind of go through everything, and if you have any questions on the bike too, drop them in the comments, and I'll come back to it. Box 1 number plate, always. I think I've been running that for probably 6 years now. We got the Box V-Brake, quick lock. I don't use it. They're not compatible with this ODI grip, but those can clip into most ODI grips if that's something you want. I run the oversized 31.8 millimeter triple taper flat handlebar. I believe 3-degree back sweep. Oversized technology, obviously, paired with the Box oversized 31.8 60 mil stem. And you notice it looks a little bit weird. I actually have a top lid stem and I flip it upside down. That's personal preference. I've noticed a lot more people doing it recently, but that's just a comfort thing. It's kind of what I'm used to. Obviously, Box X5 forks. I've been running these my entire professional career. And I also tested the X6 prototypes that'll be coming out soon. So I'll be on those shortly as well. I run a Box through axle through the Onyx hub right there. Remix carbon rims, Tioga Power Block tires, Box carbon headset. So basically the whole front end of my bike is Box, and that's what I trust. So whole front end. I can't imagine there's anything stiffer than this setup that I have right here. Obviously Mongoose frame. Run Behringer cranks, Renan sprocket, 47 tooth. This chain's kind of unique. It's actually a Connex Whipperman chain. It's a German brand. Box saddle, carbon, Box seat clamp. Run Box brakes, HT pedals, Onyx hubs, Onyx oversized cog as well. JW tensioners, and that about covers it all. Remix carbon pads on V-brakes for the carbon wheels as well. So there's a quick bike check. Like I said, I am a comfort guy above all else. I want to trust what I run. I have been I've been on Box products forever. I've never had any issues. I ride some of the biggest tracks in the world. I've cased a lot of jumps pretty dang hard trying new things, and I've gotten out of it well every time. So there's nothing I trust more. Stiffness, comfort, Box oversized, that's my go-to. So gear ratio, 47-17 usually. I switch it up for depending on whether or not I'm on an 8-meter hill or a smaller hill. That's about it for the bike check. If you have any questions, if there's anything I forgot to go over, feel free to ask. And any questions you have now, fire. Let's chat. So if you got any questions, drop them in here. Anything you want to say, anything you want to ask, let me know. And I'm trying to scroll up right here and see if there's anything I missed. Why the V-brake over disc these days? Good question. I get this one a lot. I've never actually ran a disc brake. Everyone kind of has their reasons. I guess mine is, we travel a lot. We spend a lot of time on the road. I've seen kind of firsthand when people have problems with their disc brakes, they're problems. Like, they're not easy to fix. So that was kind of the main reason. Like, if I was overseas and something went wrong, V-brakes are pretty easy to fix. I don't even ride with a finger on the brake. Most pros do. You'll see in photos they have their index finger on the brake. I don't I'm like all four fingers wrapped around the grip, and it's rare that I grab the brakes unless I am grabbing an entire handful in a turn. So I just haven't seen it as like for myself personally, the way I ride being beneficial, and V-brakes, plenty of stopping power for what I need, but we're pinned always. Do you use your race bike for training? Yeah, it depends. I have several bikes set up, some with different gearings, little things that are different on each bike for testing. But obviously, anytime on the track, yeah, I'm on my primary race bike, which is this one behind me. But yeah, it varies depending on what I'm doing for training. Maybe lighter and enough brake power. Yeah, I mean, I think weight isn't, I don't know if there's much difference between disc and V. But yeah, like I said, it's more of a convenience thing for me. Anything else? Any question? Carbon rims versus aluminum. So I ran aluminum rims for two or 3 years. Last year made the switch to carbon remix rims. I noticed a little bit in stiffness. I think personally I feel a little bit more of like the texture in the ground when I'm on carbon rims. Like bumpier surfaces, I feel like you notice it through your hands a little bit more. Feels like aluminum can maybe absorb some of that better. But I do feel like I notice a little, I noticed more stiffness in my bike ever since I switched to the carbon remix hoops, and they've been great, haven't had an issue. How do you train stamina? There's a lot of different ways. I'd say the most simple way would just be doing full laps, like something specific to what we need to do. Obviously, that's the longest effort you're going to be doing. And so doing several of those for a training session is one way. You would train your stamina. Watt bike stuff, I spend a lot of time on a watt bike and focus more on the endurance side of things on the watt bike. Yeah, just making your efforts longer or increasing the duration and lowering the intensity would be a way to train stamina. Why wouldn't you use a smaller set of bars and run the stem the right side up? That's probably the logical thing to do. I had this set up for, I think, I've had the same exact front end, 8-inch box bars, and that top load, 60 mil top load stem flipped upside down for a long time. And I don't know, I just haven't, I'm a creature of habit. I don't like change much, and that's just kind of what I've gotten used to. So, yeah, I don't have a very logical answer for you right there. How do you gain speed on sprints? Once again, not a single answer question, but there's a lot of things you can do. I think I'm a big believer in gym and building strength training and learning how to apply that to a bike. Obviously, just repetitions of sprints over time, as long as you're bringing the intensity that you need to them, they're going to get better. So a lot of sprints, a lot of time in the gym, increasing your power, and that's kind of where I would start if you need more speed on your sprints. You start in the gym, build more strength, and then worry about applying it to the bike. Any other questions? If you said something up top and I don't, or I didn't see it, feel free to type it back in. Sorry, I'm a newbie here. How do I like the silence of Onyx hubs? Yeah, I like I like being able to hear the tires on the ground the most. I know a lot of people like the sound of like the Profiles or the Chris Kings, but I just like it when you catch a backside perfectly, or if you're on like kind of a grainy track and you can hear your tires on the ground. That's what I like the most. So, ask box for a set of titanium bars. Oh, I have. Yeah, so I've actually I do have a set of titanium bars. I've yet to test them. This year's been kind of crazy, especially with injury. I haven't had a good window to try them out. But after these races coming up, I'm for sure gonna test them and see if I can save some weight on the bike. How did you get started? That's a good question. So I think growing up, I'd go on walks with my mom, and I got the training wheels off pretty young. I think when I was like 3 years old, and I would go with her while she was walking the dog, and I'd ride down into people's yards and hit jumps on the side of the road, whatever. And shortly after they kind of discovered I loved riding my bike, they found a flyer of the local track in Bozeman, Montana, Gallatin Valley BMX, and I think my dad took me out there for the first time, and I just an adrenaline junkie from the beginning and fell in love with it. And like I said, that kind of that sparked a lot of things. I raced motocross as well, and really any sport I could get involved in growing up, I was in the thick of it. So, what's the best wheel set for a full carbon Speedco? Well, that's all preference. You got to start by figuring out if you like aluminum or carbon, and then go from there. Does bike weight matter? I mean, if weight difference is pretty small, like 8 versus 9 kilograms. Yeah, I mean, I don't know about bike. I think rotating weight matters more, in my opinion. Like, obviously, anything on the rim and the wheel and the hubs. Everyone has a different opinion. You're going to hear all sorts of things. I don't focus much on the weight of my bike. I want something that I can trust and something that feels stiff and stable and reliable. And I'm not real picky either. Like, there's little things I can notice on a bike, but I just focus on making it go as fast as possible, and I try not to get too wrapped up into the details. Is Mongoose going to make a carbon fiber frame? I'm not sure at the moment. No, we might have some cool stuff right around the corner later this year. Who is your coach nowadays? I work with German Medina, who is our USA Cycling national team coach. He came on board last year, and he's been a great role model for me. Do you like big gears or small spinny gears? I usually like big gears. I'd say I'm on the taller end of most pros. I like the feeling of pushing against something. So, typically big gears. Right or left in front when gait and doing jumps? Right for both for me. I start with my right foot, ride with my right foot. If my left foot's forward, something's wrong. Yeah, that's an interesting question, because not many people at the highest level. So our 8-meter hills are all pretty similar in spec, and everyone kind of starts and rides with different feet forward, and usually the standard 8-meter hill benefits opposite foot starters and riders, like the people that start with their right and ride with their left, or start with their left and ride with their right. They get an extra half a revolution down the hill. So it's a good question. Why not use the M35 cranks? I haven't had the opportunity to test it yet. I'll be doing that later this year. Favorite track? Oh, man, I don't know. I like all the ones I end up going going well at. So I don't know. I'm not much of a track critique guy. I'd say I've always liked Papendal. It's very fast, wide open, good environment there. I love racing anywhere in South America, mostly for the environment, not the tracks. But yeah, I'd say probably Papendal. Is European BMX race scene different than in the U.S.? For sure. Yeah, it's way different. I haven't ever done like a Euro Cup or anything like that. The only time I've been in Europe is for World Cup. So, but yeah, it's a different pace, different environment for sure. South America is different, or I think is way different. I love going there. There's kind of this energy around the events that you don't get anywhere else. So yeah, South America is probably my favorite place to race. Any other questions? A bunch of new people still coming in here, so if you got anything, Jasper, you're a goat, man. Anything else? Anybody? If I missed you, feel free to retype it. Have you qualified for the games? Not officially yet. We'll know after the World Championships here in May. It's been a long kind of qualification process. It started at the beginning of 2023 World Cup events, and we've had Olympic qualifying events for the last 2 years now. My injuries kind of thrown a little wrench in things. I missed a lot of them. I missed a lot of World Cups last year, and obviously a lot at the beginning of this year after the re-injury. So it's kind of like a running points table leading up through Rock Hill. So still have some big events to come, some heavily weighted ones. So just a race at a time for now, and hopefully we'll get there. That's the goal. Have you done coaching sessions? Yeah, I used to do clinics every once in a while at Goodyear Raceway in Arizona, and some at Black Mountain as well. Haven't done it in a while. I've had a lot going on, so definitely want to get back to that at some point. What's your favorite moment in BMX so far? Oh, man. In BMX, probably the World Cup win in Argentina last year. That was probably my favorite moment. Fought a lot of adversity leading up to that race. I had stuff going on, obviously, with my injury, and then outside of sport as well. And it was just a kind of a hard road to get back and feel like myself. And that was a pretty victorious moment. Felt really good. Do you want to race a year-round? Eventually, yeah, for sure. I think that's kind of bucket list for me. At some point, I want to do the whole European Cup series. That'd be fun. Chain preference, brand, half link, or full links. I don't have much of a preference. I've kind of ran all sorts of them. Right now, I use a Connex Whipperman chain. It's a German brand. And I've had good luck with it. Favorite race day snacks? Sour Patch Kids for sure. I get some glucose in. What else? Just a good banana. any kind of bar. I don't eat much on race day. I'm too stressed out. So just get Sour Patch Kids in before each round. Height and crank length preference. Height of what? Crank length preference. I ran 180s for a long time, and right now I'm on 177.5. So. My height is 5'11", if that's what you're asking. Still got new people coming in. If you got any questions, drop them in the comments. We're in just a live Q&A. Whatever you want to ask, feel free. Any candy on race day, or whatever's available. Straight sugar all day. How long have you been racing? I'm 22 now. I started right when I was, I guess, first official races when I was 4. So 18 years. What's my favorite country I've visited so far, and why? That's a good question. I've always liked going to the Netherlands. I don't know, maybe it's the time of year that we've went there. It's been really nice, laid back, very green, wide open, kind of slow. It's kind of my speed, so Netherlands is always cool. And then anywhere in South America, I just like seeing that culture as well. Any rivalries growing up? Yeah. Yeah, in every sport, I was just super competitive, so I butted heads with a lot of people, but yeah. Which color of Gatorade? I like orange. Orange is my favorite color. What's the goal for the coming 2 years? I'm not sure there's one in particular. There's a lot of goals. I just try and stay focused on each day as it comes to me. Sometimes things can be, unpredictable. So I just, I want to keep pushing myself, get better every day, hold myself to a high standard, and whatever comes of it, comes of it. Who did the paint job on the bike? Can you show it off a little bit more? Yes, I will. So that was Wisconsin Hydrographics. So the guys at Mongoose, there's a local company in Wisconsin, and I believe his name was Barry, and he hydro dips all sorts of things. And we had this idea. I ran it by our product design guy. Honestly, probably a year before we actually made it a reality. And I was like, is there any way we can make a frame kind of look like it was made out of wood in any way, shape, or form without it looking bad? So he reached out to this guy, and we actually saw these images of these guns that had this wood texture on it. And we asked him if he could do it on a frame, and he made it happen. So it turned out amazing, better than I ever expected. And it kind of happened on social media, everyone was using the wood emojis, and they was floating around quite a bit, and I was like, that would be pretty cool if we made it happen. So yeah, I'll show you guys again real quick. So yeah, I don't know how much it'll zoom in. You can see it's pretty textured. And then we had some cool little additions on there. We had the Montana state outline. Obviously the Mongoose logo. These arrows point to Bozeman, where I grew up. And these decals are also, these aren't hydro dip, these are decals, but they're an oak wood grain as well. Right here we have the Montana State coin bowl with the American flag behind it. And then just wood 12 and the Mongoose logo on the rear triangle. So this turned out incredible, and we're going to have some more pretty cool stuff coming here soon. Do you run flat bars? Yes, 3-degree back sweep. I think that, yeah, the box triple taper flat. I'll have your Sour Patch Kids for you at Chandler BMX. Perfect. Sounds good. I'm not answering that question, Hessel. Are we going to see a wood replica go for sale? I don't know. I thought about maybe doing a giveaway. I have 2 of these wood grain bikes, and I'll be on some new stuff here soon. So thinking about giving away one of them. That'd be pretty cool. All right, we'll keep going for a few more minutes. If you got any more questions, there's still all sorts of people rolling in. We're just live Q&A right now. Anything you want to ask me? Is your Mongoose bike stock? Is it the same bike that riders can buy in stores? This one is a little bit different. So they're actually doing production now. All the ones they're doing on production from now on are identical to what I'm on right now. So we did a little bit of product development over the last few years, just kind of with my feedback and other Mongoose pros feedback. Found some ways to stiffen up the frame. Kind of beefed up the down tube, the bottom bracket. We kind of reinforced it a little bit. And found ways to stiffen up the frame without adding too much weight. So we've gotten to a good place with the frame, and the performance has been amazing. It's been reliable, and my favorite bike. So gear ratio change for different tracks? Not usually, just depends on if it's a 8-meter hill or a small track. I kind of just have 2 standard go-tos. I don't mess with it that much. Anything I missed? But Robert, I did ride the stock Mongoose for the first two years. In 2020 and 2021, I rode the stock Mongoose Title Elite frame, and there's nothing wrong with that bike either. We were just working on trying to make it a little bit stiffer and trying to make the product as effective as possible. The favorite gym exercise, back squat, always. Yeah, I spend a lot of time in the gym. That's probably my go-to. Are the wood frames for sale now? No, these were just 2 off frames. We sold out most of the inventory of the title teams at the tail end of last year, and then just had an idea, ran it by our product design guy, and made it happen. So these last few races coming up will be my last races on the wood grain frame. I am not the owner of Box. It is Toby Henderson. Usually it's a one-on-one conversation with Toby, and it kind of back and forth. They're out of town at a mountain bike event right now, so I'm solo. Any other questions? We're going to wrap it up here soon. If you're just joining, hello. Any questions? Anything at all, I'll answer. Any major crashes? Yeah, I'd say last year in Turkey, that was kind of my first big one that I needed surgery for. And then this year at the beginning of the year, the same re-injury to the shoulder. Those have probably been my two biggest crashes. Who was your first sponsor ever when you were younger? Oh man. Let me think. I think it would have been, there was a team. So I used to drive up to Salt Lake City, Utah in the winter, when the track in Bozeman was all snowed out. And there was a small team there. I think it was a little bike shop team called Performance Bike Parts. And that was my first ever team. And then shortly after that, Redline Challenge, I rode for like 2 or 3 years. That was a pretty cool team to be on. I looked up to a lot of the pros that were on the factory Redline team, so I thought I was pretty cool. The title team's disc brakes, yes, they are disc brake right now. And then the title Elite Speed brake. Will we see you in Montana this year at some point? Hey, Grandma. Yes, sometime. I don't know when. I need to fish. Are you a fan of big hill tracks or prefer smaller? I'd say, I just like racing. I don't really care that much, but I think small tracks still provide good racing. Sometimes I think some of the tracks are unnecessary. And I think, I think the racing's just as good on small tracks, and that's what I grew up on mostly. And that's, what I've lived by the majority of my life, so that's probably my preference. I don't mind it either way, though. What do you do in your free time if you're not on the bike? Good question. Spend a lot of time with my girlfriend. I play some video games sometimes when I'm chilling out. I like to fly fish. When my shoulder works, I like to golf. I don't know when I'm going to be able to get my golf swing back. But I like to, golfing and fly fishing, spending time with family, girlfriend, chilling out. Recommend if I'm going to travel, change out gears depending on the track. I don't know. I think just find a setup that you like, that you're comfortable with, and stick with it. I only change really depending on if I'm on an 8-meter start hill or a smaller one. So I don't think playing around with it that much is that effective. That's all. If you got any last questions, fire away. If not, I'm going to peace out. Thanks for joining, listening. Thank you, Jason. Appreciate it. Later. Have a good one. Thank you guys for tuning in. That would be in terms of the grips, that'd be a question for Toby. Shoot them a direct message. I'm sure they'll get back to you. Favorite riders growing up. I like Kyle Bennett. I like Sam. I like Mikey Day. And then I was a pretty big fan of Randy Stumphauser for a while too. He was the man. I remember he was like a school teacher and won the pro title. Me and my dad were in the stands watching. That was pretty cool. Hello. All right. Looks like that's all. Some people starting to dip, so I'm going to take off. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks for interacting, asking some questions. Hope I got back to all of you. If I didn't, you can shoot me a DM. And thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you to the team at Box, Toby, Tomas, Chloe. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for all the support, and thanks for letting me do this. And yeah, we'll see if maybe I can do this thing soon. If you see me at any of the races coming up, come say hi. I'm not shy, and yeah, I'll catch you guys around. Thanks for tuning in. Later. Peace.